Okay, so get ready because today we're going to be looking at something pretty intense.
Yeah.
AI. Specifically, this idea of an intelligence explosion.
Right.
And you sent over this document, Situational Awareness, by Leopold Aschenbrenner. And this guy, he doesn't mess around.
Yeah.
He's an AI expert who's basically saying, get ready because things are about to get really crazy.
What's so interesting about this is that it's not, like speculation or anything.
Yeah.
Aschenbrenner uses information that's publicly available and trends in the field to basically make this super compelling argument about what the future of AI could look like.
Yeah, and some might say alarming even.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, alarming case for what's coming. He used this term, counting the OOMs.
Right.
Which basically means orders of magnitude to show how fast AI is actually growing. Like imagine your phone getting 10 times faster every year. That's the kind of leap we're talking about.
Yeah, that exponential growth.
Yeah, and he points to GPT-2 to GPT-4 in just 4 years as evidence of this.
It's really important to remember that even experts underestimate how fast this stuff is moving.
Yeah.
We set these benchmarks for what we think AI can do, and then it just blows right past them.
Right.
Way ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
It's like watching a kid go from learning their ABCs to writing poetry in just a couple of months.
Yeah, and GPT-4, with all its achievements, is still just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Aschenbrenner says, we're only just starting to see.
Yeah, we're barely scratching the surface.
To see what it can do.
Yeah.
It's already acing exams and writing complex code, but researchers believe there are still these limitations holding it back.
It's kind of like if you think about it, we've hired this incredibly gifted new employee, but we haven't actually train them or given them the right tools yet.
Right.
They have all this raw potential, but they're limited by how we're interacting with them right now.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So what are these limitations?
Okay.
And how do we unhobble AI to unlock its true potential?
There are 3 main things driving AI's progress.
Okay.
Compute power, algorithmic efficiency, and what Aschenbrenner calls unhobbling.
Right.
Compute power is basically how much processing power we can throw at these AI systems.
Okay.
Algorithmic efficiency is about making those algorithms smarter.
Yeah.
So they can do more with less computing power. Kind of like finding a shortcut that lets you do the same work with less effort.
Yeah.
And then unhobbling is about removing the constraints that are holding AI back right now.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah.
What are some examples?
Yeah. What are some concrete examples of how we might unhobble AI?
Yeah.
One example is increasing the context length.
Right.
Think about how much information you can hold in your mind at any given time.
Yeah.
AI has similar limitations, but we're already seeing advancements in this area. For example, the new Gemini 1.5 Pro can learn a new language just by reading about it.
Wow.
It's like giving the AI a much larger mental workspace to process information.
Yeah, and it's not just about processing text.
Right.
What about giving AI access to tools that let them interact with the world more?
Yeah.
Like web browsers or code execution abilities.
Right now, a lot of AI interaction is limited to just text.
Right.
Like text-based prompts and responses.
Yeah.
But imagine giving AI the ability to browse the web, run code, and even control physical systems.
Oh.
It's like giving them hands to interact with the world,
Right.
not just a brain to think about it.
That's both exciting and a little scary.
Yeah.
It makes me think about the potential for AI coworkers, systems that can work alongside humans,
Right.
maybe even surpassing us in certain tasks.
Another area with huge potential is increasing test time compute.
Okay.
This basically means allowing AI to think for much longer periods, exploring different solutions and strategies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how AlphaGo, the AI that beat the world champion at Go,
Right.
got so good,
Yeah.
it played millions of games against itself.
So instead of just responding to a prompt,
Exactly.
AI could work on these complex projects potentially for months at a time, coming up with solutions we might never even think of.
Right.
But this also brings up Aschenbrenner's concerns about safety and control, right?
Absolutely.
If AI becomes this powerful, how do we make sure it's used for good?
That's the big question. And it's one that Aschenbrenner definitely doesn't shy away from. He specifically warns about the potential for an intelligence explosion,
Right.
where AI becomes capable of doing AI research itself,
wait.
accelerating progress far beyond human control.
So we're not just talking about AI getting smarter.
Right.
We're talking about
Well,
AI becoming capable of creating even smarter AI.
Exactly.
That's well, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it raises some big questions about how we design, control, and align these systems with human values.
Right.
It's like trying to put a leash on something that might be way smarter than you.
And what about the current methods we use to train AI?
Right.
Like reinforcement learning from human feedback.
Yeah.
Will those still work?
That's a huge concern.
Yeah.
If we're relying on human feedback to guide AI development.
Yeah.
What happens when AI becomes so complex that we can't even understand how it's thinking, let alone give it meaningful feedback?
Right. Like trying to teach a dog a trick.
Yeah, exactly.
That's beyond your own understanding.
Yeah.
So what are some potential solutions?
Yeah.
How do we make sure
how do we make sure
these super smart AIs are working towards goals that benefit humanity?
This is where things get even more challenging.
Yeah.
Aligning human-level AI is already difficult.
Right.
But aligning superintelligence is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about fundamentally different approaches,
Okay.
like researching better interpretability techniques so we can actually understand how AI is making decisions.
Okay.
We also need to focus on developing really robust and verifiable alignment methods, maybe even using AI to help us align even more powerful AI.
So it sounds like we need to be thinking about this very carefully.
Absolutely.
And we need to be thinking about it now.
Yes. The stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah.
We're talking about incredible progress, but also profound danger.
Right.
And as Aschenbrenner points out, this isn't just a technological challenge. It's a geopolitical one as well.
Right. He talks about how there could be a huge power shift.
Yeah.
If certain nations, especially those that maybe aren't as democratic, get their hands on superintelligence first.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary thought.
It really is.
Imagine like a country with a history of human rights violations suddenly having technology that can outthink and outmaneuver.
Outsmart everyone.
Yeah, everyone else.
That's
the potential for misuse is just...
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It's terrifying.
He compares it to the Gulf War.
Yeah.
Where the U.S., even though they had a smaller army, completely dominated Iraq because of technology.
Right, because of their technological advantage.
So that's a pretty chilling historical parallel.
It is.
And Aschenbrenner argues that destruction, basically how much destruction you can cause per dollar spent on technology, has consistently gone down.
Yeah, it's gone down throughout history as technology gets better.
Throughout history, as technology has gotten better.
Right.
So superintelligence could represent like a whole new level.
Could be a whole new level in that equation.
Yeah, in that equation.
Amplifying our capacity for destruction.
Yeah, like we can't even imagine.
In ways we can't even fathom.
So what's the solution?
Well,
how do we prevent a future where superintelligence is used for bad stuff?
Aschenbrenner really pushes for international cooperation and setting global safety norms for AI development and deployment.
So it's not just about competition.
Exactly.
It's about these potential existential risks.
Yeah, it's about the survival of humanity.
Right. It requires a coordinated effort.
It does.
To make sure things don't go really bad.
Right, a global effort.
He also says that the free world needs to win this race for AI.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that?
So he believes that the values and principles of free societies, things like individual rights, transparency, and democratic accountability, those are really important safeguards against the dangers of superintelligence.
So basically letting authoritarian regimes control this technology would be a huge mistake.
A very grave mistake.
He proposes a pretty bold solution.
He does.
A government-led initiative that he just calls the project.
Right.
What is he actually thinking of here?
So the project is basically a call for a focused national effort to develop and control superintelligence and make sure it stays aligned with the values of the free world.
Okay, so it's like a proactive and decisive response.
It is
to this challenge.
It's a big challenge.
Okay, but why does he think that the government needs to be involved? Because right now, most of the stuff happening in AI is with private companies.
Yeah, so Aschenbrenner says that there are a few key reasons why the government needs to lead this. First of all, the security concerns are huge. You know, given the potential for espionage and the risk of this technology falling into the wrong hands, a government-led initiative would have the resources and authority to put the right security in place.
So it's about protecting the technology itself.
Yeah, making sure it doesn't get into the wrong hands.
What are some of the other reasons?
Okay, so he also talks about the need for a clear chain of command. Especially when you're dealing with something as powerful as superintelligence. If you leave it in the hands of private companies with their own agendas and interests, that raises concerns about accountability. A government-led thing. With oversight and democratic accountability.
Would be much better.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's one thing to have a company making a new app or gadget. But this is tech that could change the world.
Exactly. And finally, Aschenbrenner talks about the need to use resources and expertise on a national scale. This isn't something one company
It's too big.
Can handle.
It needs a coordinated effort across different sectors. Research institutions and government agencies.
He's comparing it to the Manhattan Project.
Exactly.
Which brought together all those great minds to solve this huge problem of scientific and strategic importance.
It's the same idea. The project would need that kind of collaboration using the best minds in the country to ensure a good outcome.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
And I'm sure some people will say that the government being involved will slow things down.
That's a fair point. And stifle innovation.
But Aschenbrenner thinks the risks of uncontrolled AI are much worse than the government maybe slowing things down a bit. He thinks the stakes are too high to leave this to chance.
We need to be smart about this.
They do.
To make sure it benefits humanity.
Exactly.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
It's a little unsettling to think about the world changing so much so quickly.
It's a lot to process.
It feels like we're at the edge of something huge.
It does feel that way.
Both good and bad.
Yeah, both incredibly exciting and potentially terrifying.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're at a crossroads here. We're facing a future that could be amazing. Or really, really bad.
It all depends on the choices we make.
It does depend on the choices we make now. And those choices, they're going to require a lot of thought.
We need to be having these tough conversations.
We do.
About what superintelligence could mean.
Aschenbrenner doesn't just talk about the big picture stuff. He also talks about how this could affect us personally.
Yeah, like the future of work.
Yeah, like what happens to our jobs.
Exactly.
When machines can do everything better than us.
That's a big one.
That's a big question.
Some people think AI will create more jobs. Others think it'll cause mass unemployment. And chaos.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It is. There are no easy answers.
No easy answers.
We need to be thinking about how to prepare people. How to give them the education and training to adapt to this new world.
What about privacy?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
In a world where superintelligent AI could have all this data about us.
That's a valid concern.
It's enough to make you want to throw away your phone and live in a cave.
It is. We need strong privacy protections and data security that can actually stand up to superintelligence.
Yeah, and we have to decide as a society how much surveillance we're okay with.
Exactly. What are we willing to tolerate?
It makes me think about our purpose, too.
Yeah.
If machines can do everything better than us, what's left for humans?
What gives our lives meaning?
Yeah, what gives our lives meaning?
Those are really deep questions that go beyond technology.
They do go way beyond technology.
But they're questions we need to be asking ourselves.
We do need to start asking ourselves.
Maybe we'll find new meaning in being creative, in connecting with other people, in exploring the universe, or just being present in the moment. Maybe we'll have to redefine what it means to be human.
In this new age.
In this new age of intelligence.
It's a lot to think about.
It is a lot to process.
But I think Aschenbrenner's saying, we can't ignore these questions.
We can't.
We need to start thinking about them now.
We need to be proactive, not reactive. We need to shape this future. Not just let it happen to us.
So let's talk to you, the listener.
Right.
Aschenbrenner says, the 2030s are going to be even crazier than right now.
Yeah.
If superintelligence gets here soon, what will the world look like in 2040?
What kind of world will we be living in?
The role you play in shaping that world.
Yeah, will you just sit back and watch? Or will you actually try to make a difference?
These aren't easy questions.
No, they're not.
But they are worth asking.
The future's being written right now.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play.
Stay informed.
Yeah, stay informed.
Keep asking questions.
Ask those tough questions.
And don't be afraid to talk about these things.
Yeah, have their conversations.
The choices we make now,
they really do matter.
Will shape the world we live in tomorrow.
They shape the world of tomorrow.
That's it for this deep dive. We hope this gave you something to think about.
Yeah.
And made you want to learn more about AI.
All the possibilities.
The dangers. Remember, this isn't just about technology.
It's about us.
It's about the future of humanity.
Our future.
And that future
it's in our hands.
is in our hands.